Hello everybody, it's Noody here. After my recent most famous and infamous plays of Guild Wars 2 video, there was an incredible demand for part 2. I read through the hundreds of comments and direct messages from everybody and went on my way for some more digging and researching. So today I'll be sharing more famous and infamous Guild Wars 2 players. Remember, there will be no content creators. This series is for players who left impacts on the game through their actions and accomplishments alone and not through their content. But if you guys want it, I can make an episode for content creators too. Also, let me know if you want to see a World vs World or Top World vs World Commanders edition, as a lot of you have been reaching out with some great names, but for this video I just want to expand the playing field so everybody can enjoy it of all game mode. I'm looking to do a version for guilds specifically, as that would make for a really interesting video too. Make sure to like the video and subscribe if you haven't already, as this video took a lot of time and effort to make. Without further ado, let's get straight into it. The most famous and infamous players of Guild Wars 2 Part 2. JT Darksided. You may not recognize this person by their name, but many of you will remember in a moment. JT Darksided was a World vs World hacker who tormented players for months and months on end. Back in the early days of the game, he would fly across the map into enemy keeps and steal what were called orbs of power. He would also take their keeps and towers. Stealing these orbs would grant your team large bonuses and give you a big advantage. In this video from DGen TP, you can see Darkseid as a naked up-level player flying around the walls of Gary, just taking the piss out of the group trying to hold onto their orb. Aside from his fly hacks, he was also reported to do insane amounts of damage. Let's just say he was on some good shit that would just leave people watching, pulling their hair out. Now the best part of this story is the justice that was served to JT. After months of terrorizing the World vs World community, the game security lead of ArenaNet named Chris Cleary responded to a thread of players questioning what action ANET takes against cheaters in Guild Wars 2, and this video was used. Cleary responded, "We don't need to see it in game. Sometimes good video evidence is enough for me to track down who it was. In this case, the video was enough for me to find out who it was and take action. Thanks for the video, and to accompany your video, I will give you this video of his account's last moments." In this video, which is now deleted, Darkseid's account is taking control of, stripped naked of his gear, and is publicly executed by leaping to his death. Chris ends his statement with, "Oh yeah, and he's banned." Fucking savage. Chris continues to delete all of JT's characters. This story gained huge media attention, being covered by large news platforms such as BBC and Kotaku, in addition to many more, as it was simply one of the most savage ways that a game company has treated a hacker before. Many people praised Cleary for this heroic act, while others thought it was unprofessional and too far. What do you think? GuildMmm. No, not my GuildMmm. The walking bank himself, probably worth as much as my guild. Ladies and gentlemen, GuildMmm is the Guild Wars 2 version of Jeff Bezos. I was kicking myself after I forgot him in the first video, as this story is truly one of a kind. GuildMmm is one of the richest players who still plays since release, having a peak last year of 1.7 million liquid gold. With this incredible wealth and power, GuildMmm became one of the leaders of the Jade Quarry North American server. He allowed loans as large as 150,000 gold to bring the server larger and more powerful guilds, with interest of course. With these kinds of figures, MM was able to manipulate World vs World as he pleased, and he worked alongside other wealthy partners to do just this. JQ was not the only server that was funded by MM. We'll get into this with more detail shortly, but I'm sure you're asking how. How is he so rich? I was wondering the exact same. I'd heard many things from other people and wanted to know for sure what was true. So I went to none other than the man himself to give me more information on what was true, and he was more than happy to answer. He wrote me a huge essay of his story, but I'll give you the highlights. GuildMmm has been playing since Guild Wars 1, but his entire time on Guild Wars 2 has been as a trader. He would flip items on the trading post, do loan deals as we know, and he would purchase gifts of masteries from other players to make legendary weapons and make a profit. MM says he was doing yearly loans of 100,000 and over to commanders, guilds, crafters, and friends of his. As of today, he has about 1.4 million liquid gold, so those are items that are tradable and not his account value. He runs the largest gold earning operation guild in the game called the GuildMmm Trading Company. He says last year they did over 7 million gold worth of deals, including over 2,000 legendary weapons sold. MM says he started funding Jade Quarry in 2014. He decided to take part in World vs World politics, as he had the goal to do this from buying those gift of masteries and flipping them into legendaries. He explains how he bought many guilds such as TW for 35,000 gold, once again making money off interest, and then he met Zhu Shin, another player I'm going to cover shortly, from the Maguma server. Him and others also funded Zhu Shin huge amounts of gold to build the Maguma server and take them to tier 1 and 2. He goes on to explain more about the service he's funded and the ways he's made gold. Feel free to pause and read through these screenshots as they're really interesting. But wait, it's not over. While discussing the wealth of MM, I sarcastically made a joke to him that sending me a free legendary would be a big flex for the video. And to my surprise, he immediately responded, "Account ID, let's flex." I immediately told him I'd feel too bad to take that legendary, and he said, "Let's put it out there so you don't feel that bad." He proceeded to send me screenshots of his inventory and his bank over the last couple of years, and it fucking blew my mind. Legendaries on legendaries, mystic coins on mystic coins, and globs on globs. He showed me he was clearly serious about this, and of course I was like, fuck, free legendary, let's go. I told him Bifrost, Quip, Dreamer, or Twilight. Anything is a blessing. And when I get home from work and log in, this is what I see.
Holy fuck! The fucker actually done it! Oh my gosh. Yo, that's fucking insane. That's fucking nuts.
This dude is no joke. Tyrion de los Bravos. Next up, we have a more light-hearted and funny story. Tyrion is the leader of a guild named GuildMmm on the Fort Aspenwood server where he still resides today as far as I know. Tyrion has always been well known throughout the FA server, but it was in 2013 when a hilarious video of Tyrion's World vs World driving was uploaded to YouTube. There really isn't too much I can say to explain this video, so before we go further, I'll show you some of the highlights.
Stack. Close, guys. Close. Stay close. I need you close. I need you to stay with me all the time, guys. All the time.
They're running. Might as well just restack.
Stack.
GG, they're coming right at you.
Stack conmigo. Take the bell. Está conmigo again. Stack. Move to left. Vamos, sí, on there. Push it to the left. Come on. Move. Close with me. And bomb here. Come on,
Bombing.
Get moving. Don't stop, guys, don't stop. On me. Come on. Get moving. Cleanse. Listen. Está conmigo.
No.
Muy bien, 3, 2, 1, let's go.
Rally.
Keep moving. Keep moving. Close to me, guys. Close to me. Empower round.
Tyro, breathe.
On me.
Breathe.
Está conmigo.
As if the way he commands wasn't funny enough, the funniest part of this video is the ending, which after 4 minutes of Tyrion commanding like this, it comes down to one of his guildies to tell him that he only has 3 people left on him and that he needs to stop, and Tyrion's reaction is just hilarious. Listen to this.
Está conmigo.
Tyro, stop.
Huh?
Tyro, stop.
What happened?
There's like 3 people left. Calm, please.
Naru, Team USA, and others. Naru is pushing the border of my content creator rule as he streams from time to time, but trying to find relevant PvPers with worthy history or controversy who aren't content creators is a bit difficult. Naru and the other Team USA members such as Toka, Zeromus, Helio, and Reckless are undoubtedly some of the greatest PvPers to exist in Guild Wars 2. They currently are the top PvP group today. I could be mistaken, but to my knowledge this group of players, with the inclusion of a few others from time to time, have won every North American monthly automated tournament, collecting all the gizmos. If you're on North American servers, you will see their statues in Heart of the Mists every month. However, quite a lot of controversy has always clouded these players for quite some time. From Helio reportedly single-handedly occupying and selling many top spots of the PvP leaderboards to PvE players willing to pay big money, there was also many win trading accusations put across all these players, but by far the biggest scandal to face most of these players was in July 2017 when the first monthly tournament was held. Naru, Toka, Zeromus, Nos, and Wakey were investigated and exposed by ArenaNet for playing on the accounts of other players who were paying these players to win the tournament for them. ArenaNet said, "As many of you are aware, we received many reports that the winners of July's monthly tournament were not played by the owners of those accounts. After a thorough investigation, we have found these accusations are true. 10 July monthly tournament winners were found to be guilty of this and are now permanently banned from all forms of PvP. In addition, ArenaNet removed all the prizes and cleared the statues in the Heart of the Mists that the offending players won during the tournament. I'm not exactly sure as to if the bans were lifted or if the players are just on alt accounts today, but they continue to dominate PvP. Another old-time player named Cray Toasty reached out to me before making this video and admitted to selling PvP boosting services to PvE players who want the titles for large amounts of real money, and he accuses Naru of being one of his little helpers with this. He even admitted to jibbing the hell out of Naru, giving him very small percentages of the money without Naru even being aware. He showed me receipts of this with payments over $1,000, but keep in mind these are all accusations and I'm not blaming Naru for this. This is just what I've been told. Regardless, there's no denying that Naru and Team USA are hands down some of the greatest players to play the game competitively, and they continue to prove that. Xiu Yin. Xiu Yin is the commander of the Desolation Guild who coordinated the first ever Triple Trouble kill. He is one of the only players in the game with an in-game reference. But it wasn't for the kill he coordinated, it was for the amazing speech he gave his guild and server after the wipe. ArenaNet added a stone tablet in Bloodline Coast which included a quote of Xiu Yin's speech. Listen to this.
Got him. Yes!
But days on end, my Desolation family, my Tyrion family, my Guild Wars family, my worldwide family. We fucked this one. We failed time and time again. Many a times we failed, many a times we almost gave up hope. We saw the darkness and we almost fell victim to its torment. But no, not on this day. This day we came together. This day, friends, family, players of all kinds from all over this wonderful world of ours. We came together and we defeated this one that had tormented us for so long. Triple Trouble, more like no more. No more!
Yes!
Bask in the glory! Bask in the glory, for we are the heroes of this day!
Amen, Reverend. Amen.
I'm mightiest, okay? I'm the greatest player in the game.
Ajax Blue. Ajax Blue, who is a self-proclaimed best player in the game, has a pretty simple story. One time, he made a 40-minute video of him talking to everybody and telling them that he's the greatest player in the game, while insulting everyone else. Some people say he was serious, but personally, I think he was doing it just for comedic purposes, and quite honestly, the video is actually pretty funny. This video ended up getting over 100,000 views. He runs around killing veteran guards and up-level players and pretty much refers to everyone as mouth breathers, and just along the way, his BM and his stupid jokes actually make you giggle a bit. Have a listen to some of these clips.
So, being the person who was blessed by the Almighty God with more brains and more skill than anybody in the world, I figured I'd make a video. And I refused to pay $37 for Fraps. Fraps should be paying me for advertising for them. What were you thinking when you stood there to watch the greatest player in the game killing your own sentry? What's the matter? What is that? Is that thing gonna help you? No, it's not gonna help you, son. You're dead. You're dead because I'm better than you. You don't have any reason to be playing this game. Turn the game off. Stop playing the game, son. What a disgrace. What a disgrace to Guardians. You weren't even a challenge, son. That's the second time I ate you. Let me make sure to laugh so this guy knows that he's pathetic. Looks like a mesmer there. And I'm going to shoot him with the ballista because he doesn't know where I came from. And then I'm going to shoot him with a ballista. Wait, isn't this shit fun? Isn't this fun, kids? Isn't this a great time? All in the day's work for the greatest player in the game, I'm telling you. How many of you would have thought to use the ballista? Help me to lose, ArenaNet. Help me to lose. This is not enough of a challenge for me.
Adrian is literally running around trying to auto the shark.
Adrian. Adrian is a very infamous player amongst the raiding community of Guild Wars 2. I myself prefer to remain neutral as I'm not familiar with him and I don't really raid, but I will explain his story as I've heard from many others. Used to be one of the most toxic PvE players out there. He was in a guild called Immortal Raiders, a guild that required not only extremely good execution by all their members, but also had a no bias rule. Back when Wing 4 Bastion of the Pendant got released with challenge modes for all 4 bosses, he tried to gather a group of 9 players who already had the challenge mode for the second boss, Mossart Overseer, to try and get his title for doing the challenge mode, and offered 1,000 gold split between the players, which resulted in him being kicked from his guild. After being expelled from raid, he made the guild looking for players, where then he would start doing training raids for raids that he himself would not know, and even worse, he would flame new players for not being able to hit the benchmark DPS numbers on a boss. Something that not even the best players can consistently do. Now fast forward to Wing 5's release, all North American selling guilds set an agreement to not sell achievements to Adrian, since he would use the titles he bought as proof of boss kills whilst not accepting other people's titles as kill proof. Adrian moved to the European servers to purchase a title from a guild there, which can be seen in this clip. Is said to have all elite raiders today blocked and is starting to clean up his act. But next time you see in the LFG tab, you'll know who you're getting yourself into a group with.
1 blast, blast. Here we go, perfect, come on! You're gonna move forward.
Mark Rocks. A lot of you really enjoyed the Sacrix and Redguard story from the last episode. Mark Rocks and his guild Team Aggression was what had followed after Sacrix departed the game. Many Redguard players went under Mark in Team Aggression and their reign started there. Mark led a lethal force in Team Aggression with his manly as fuck voice and conquered every European guild that stood in front of them. During this time, us North American players were still salty after Redguard came and beat all our guilds, and it had been long enough for us to practice hard, and we wanted a rematch against EU's top dog. Insane shit talk was put on the forums from both sides, and Team Aggression packed their rucksacks and brought their chars across the world. The hype was unreal, Obsidian Sanctum was queued out, and Sacrix himself came back to cast these matches.
This is it, people. 40 seconds, round 1. America, fuck yeah, coming again to state the motherfucking day. Yeah, America. Team Aggression, your game is through, and now you have to answer to aggression.
First up was North America's top guild Aggression versus EU's top guild Team Aggression, which went 5-2 to the North American side, who had made more adjustments and formed a newer playstyle outside of the tanky melee train meta that TA was used to. After that, Team Aggression lost once again to another powerhouse North American guild, which was Night Shift. Although Team Aggression played greatly in both these matches, it was clear that they had not done research on the NA meta beforehand, and they simply weren't prepared. They packed their bags early and cancelled the rest of their North American tour before returning to Europe and disbanding, but that wouldn't be a worthy ending for Mark and Team Aggression. Mark returned to the game and ended up bringing Team Aggression back later into a brand new meta, which was the pirate ship meta. Once again, they became the top EU guild and pretty much the best guild in the game. However, at that point, Aggression, Night Shift, all the top NA guilds had quit the game as they saw no more challenge. Regardless, Mark and Team Aggression will always be remembered as one of the best guilds in the game.
DAOC, the double champ Fastcar.
Fastcar. Many people requested it because nothing really says infamous like this dude. Probably the most hated player in World vs World. As a lot of you know, Fastcar and I have our own little beef, and I purposely left him out of the first episode, but you guys requested it, so I thought I'd be fair. For the sake of this video, I'm going to be unbiased, of my own opinion, and give facts. If you want to see my real thoughts on him, go watch the video I made. Fastcar is a World vs World player, somewhere in his 40s or 50s. I'm not mentioning his age because he's still gaming, but it's the way he acts at his age that makes him infamous. Fastcar only plays full tank, close to unkillable builds such as his druid, and he is often found in Eternal Battlegrounds camping structures like SMC that gives him plus 100 buffs to most of his stats, and he uses these structures to fall back into if he's going to die. He has a YouTube channel with hundreds and hundreds of videos where people would say he is absolutely being delusional and calling himself the best player whilst skill clicking. He is like Ajax Blue, but you can tell he actually believes himself. He acts very poorly mannered and is known for being racist, sexist, delusional, upon many other things. Recently, he made a video talking about how he slept with many famous stars such as Britney Spears, and says that Ariana Grande has called him and sent him text messages saying she loves him and that she watches his videos. How can I not be biased in this? Anyway, Fastcar claims to never have been killed, yet there's multiple videos out there of him being killed and he always says it isn't him, such as the ones right here. I can't really go into his videos or gameplay without talking crap about him, but let's just say his mental capacity is very questionable and most people think he's mentally ill. If you really want to go into his videos, which I don't advise, feel free to go to his channel and have a look for yourself and build your own opinion. You can see many videos on there about me that pretty much have no gameplay and very childish commentary from Fastcar himself. Many say I really got under his skin and he's mentioning me in pretty much like all of his videos, trying to bait me into making another video about him, which I obviously don't want to do. Zhu Shin, the commander I briefly mentioned earlier. Zhu Shin is known on Maguma for being one of the top Karma training commanders in World vs. World. He'd pull huge followings. Zhu Shin pretty much brought Maguma to being one of the top servers, reaching tier 1 and tier 2. He was very big on loaning gold from players such as GuildMmm and Thanatos, who are amongst some of the richest players in the game. He's known on Maguma for always paying his debt due to the amount of gold he'd borrowed from these players to fund Maguma, and he seems to pay it back well. There's been numbers thrown around as much as 200 to 300k gold that he's borrowed from these sorts of players, and Zhu Shin pretty much built his rep from that. Today, he is said to be PvE farming and is also in the trading post guild that GuildMmm runs. He's not active in World vs. World anymore, but he does still play. Maybe one day the Lord of Maguma will return, because they pretty badly need it. Skinned Clown. Skinned Clown was a Sylvari roleplayer who looked like raw meat. Incredible story, I know. This person was known and remembered by many people simply because of their character and how damn creepy it looks. It's the sort of shit you'd see in your nightmares. But Skinned Clown was also really well known for being such a fun and nice person in the role-playing community. For a long time everybody thought Skinned Clown was a dude, but it turns out it was actually a girl behind it. Many people were inspired by Skinned Clown's character and created replicas. The story really isn't all that in depth, but I thought it was worth sharing as the character's pretty hilarious. Alright guys, that wraps up this episode. I really hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you guys want a part 3, let me know. Give me good player suggestions of all game modes and provide as much information as possible. This video took insane amounts of research, so a like and a sub for more of this type of content would be hugely appreciated. Until next time, see you guys later.